The Whispering Rabbit, written by Margaret Wise Brown and illustrated by Garth Williams. Once there was a sleepy little rabbit who began to yawn. He yawned and he yawned and he yawned and he yawned. He opened his little rabbit mouth when he yawned till he could see his white front teeth and his little round pink nose. And he yawned until a bee flew into his mouth, and he swallowed the bee. "Hoo, hoo," said a fat owl. "Always keep your paws in front of your mouth when you yawn," hooted the owl. "Rabbits never do that," said the sleepy little rabbit. "Silly rabbits," said the owl, and he flew away. The little rabbit was just calling after him, but when a little rabbit opened his mouth to speak, the bumblebee had curled up to sleep in his throat, and all he could do was whisper. "What shall I do?" he whispered to a squirrel who wasn't asleep. "Wake him up," said the squirrel. "Wake up the bumblebee." "How?" whispered the little rabbit. "All I can do is whisper, and I'm sleepy, and I want to go to sleep. And who can sleep with a bumblebee?" Suddenly a wise old groundhog popped out of the ground. "All I can do is whisper," said the little rabbit. "All the better," said the groundhog. "Come here, little rabbit," he said, "and I will whisper to you how to wake up a bumblebee. You have to make the littlest sound that you can possibly make, because a bumblebee doesn't bother about big noises. He is very little bee, and he noises like a loud whisper?" asked the little rabbit. "Too loud," said the groundhog, and he popped back into his hole. "A little noise," whispered the rabbit, and he started making little rabbit noises. He made a noise as quiet as the sound of a bird's wing cutting through the air, but the bee didn't wake up. So the little rabbit made the sound of snow falling, but the bee didn't wake up. So the rabbit made a sound of a bug breathing and a fly sneezing and grass rustling and a fireman thinking. Still the bee didn't wake up. So the rabbit sat and thought of all the little sounds he could think of. What could they be? A sound quiet as melting snow? Quiet as flowers growing? Quiet as an egg? Quiet as... And suddenly he knew the littlest noise that he made hundreds of miles away by a bumblebee in an apple tree in full blossom on a mountain. It was a very small click of a bee swallowing some honey from an apple blossom. And at that the bee woke up. He thought he was missing something and flew away. And then, what did the little rabbit do? That sleepy, sleepy little rabbit. He closed his mouth, he closed his eyes, he closed his ears, and he tucked in his paws, twitched his nose, and went sound to sleep.